Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles.
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Hi, I'm Justin the Guy. Obviously, I have a garage shop. Taking Scary how to use bikes one bike at a time.
If you like these videos, please like and subscribe.
Alrighty, we're gonna do the front brake first, just to get the general know-how on. Before, we didn't need to put the ferrules on these because, again, the brake has theirs and the shifters on these have a built-in one. So you don't, I mean, you can get a ferrule in there, but it's more of a forced. You don't really need to on these. So I'm gonna do this. And if you wanna add a little extra something to this, you can take a little bit of that Superior lube, put a couple drops. That's why I like this one, because you can get in there, do a light squeeze, that gets some in there. Pre-lube it. The housing that I use for shifting is already pre-lubed, which is kind of nice. So I just didn't get the brake housing for that. So this guy's gonna fit inside this brake lever, like so, and it's gonna follow this little groove in the bars, and then you need to go through the brake here and through here, like so. So I threaded it through the bolt here, through the ferrule adjustment there. So you want to make sure this little lever is down. That's your quick release. And I grab my Allen wrench and tighten this down. Once it's tightened down, I hit my brake. Oh, it slid into place, so it got really loose again. I loosen this back up, compress my brakes down with my hand, tighten it back down. Now I got that good tension. Then you can adjust the tension to how you feel. You'll feel like your brake's really tight. You can do that, or you can, if you want a little bit of float. Reason why people put some float in there is because they can rest their fingers there as they're going downhill and they're not gonna accidentally hit their brake. So you have that little pre-float built in there. Here's also another little trick is go hit your brakes, because I left this a little bit loose. So you put the brakes on there, tighten it. Then you tighten your anchor bolt, and sometimes it will pre-center, but this one I gotta kind of push back over. And you want both brake pads to hit equally and evenly. So when you're going downhill, it's hitting both brake pads on the side, it's not moving that rim over. And you can also adjust it with this screw here, move it back and forth. I just want that a little bit tighter, like so. So now we're gonna do the rear brake. Here's the tricky one. This has internal routing, and it's really kind of funky and fun all at the same time. So if you noticed, I got really creative. First video of this, when I took the cables off and so forth, I put a little piece of tape, which I usually used to do. And then I'm sitting here and I had a little video about magnets and how they clamp onto things that I have left over. Well, lo and behold, I replaced the tape with this, knowing that they're not gonna fall in, because when I was buffing and all that, I didn't want that cable to slide in there by accident. So this way, I anchored them. Another way of doing that is using cable ends that you can crimp on there, but I don't want to waste 6 cable ends for this. So this way I can actually reuse these when I need to redo it. So that's what these came from. So here's the tricky bit. You want to use one of these, and this is a sleeve that used to be in the day they'd sleeve these over the cables on the outside to protect the frame from getting scratched and so forth. Kind of worked. But these came in longer rolls. You can still get these at a hardware store. This one's cut the length. I want to make sure it's long enough to go through the frame and have a little tab on both ends. So what I'm going to be doing is replacing the cable with this. So then when I put the cable through, it has a guide. Then I slide this guy out when it's done. There's no sleeve inside. So if I didn't have this in here, I would have to fish it out on the other side. So I'm going to be very careful, no distractions. and make sure you feel well rested and all that, so you're not super tense about things. Go ahead and remove the safety magnet clamp. Then this is what I'm doing. So there we go. So I'm gonna slide this over, and you're like, well, Justin, what do you do when you get to here? Well, I reach to the back side and hold this end and see how I can kind of force it through. And this is thin enough that it goes through that stop. And that way I can work on my left hand here and guide it through, so you can see the black portion sticks through. So the black or gray is through there. So once I know it's holding, then I hold this, then I pull my cable out. Voila, like magic. So I don't get too excited yet. Set that there, or you can put a piece of tape on it, whatever you need to do. I probably should have done this in the beginning, but I take my housing for my rear that goes to my front brake, do my little pre-game there on the housing, slide that through. All to the shifter. Brake lever, like so. And since I have that in place, I take this end and this end. I don't replace it yet. I want to thread this cable through all the way first. So I see it on this end over here. There it is. And then I can just go ahead and magically push that through. Oh, I made a mistake. I forgot to put a ferrule on this end. Oh, what am I gonna do? So you hold this and you fish the gray sleeve back through. And there's no need to panic. There we go. And I can pull that through knowing that the sleeve is going to stay in there. See, I do mistakes. But good thing this one's a very minor one, so I'm going to put the ferrule on this guy. So you're going to do it the reverse way too. Kind of deliberately did that to show that, I'm human, and there's no need to panic. And it's a good thing to catch that is that cable housing stop goes in there. So I'll just repeat that, hold that. It's popping out the other end. So there you go, nice and fit and flush. Magical little piece. And on the back end, since I already did pre-fitted that, I just take that housing. And slide it through here. So if you really want to be crazy and slide a sleeve in there that's pre-cut evenly, because you can't have it overhang to bunker up here to try to cut down some of the rattling inside the frame. Some people have tried to do that. I rather just leave it clean with no extra materials in there and leave that flat. Then I just do the same thing, essentially, but into the front derailleur to the rear. Try not to kink the cable as you're doing this. Kind of hard to see from the other side, but here we go. Pre-press it so it all slides into place. Tighten this back up. and you're ready to go. So that's the brakes. Onto the derailleurs.